Have you ever heard a story that starts with family drama and ends with a train station tragedy? You know, the kind of tale where you think, oh, this is going to be a sweet love story, but before you know it, you're knee-deep in aristocratic scandals, messy affairs, and philosophical debates about farming? Stick around. This one's got everything: love, betrayal, politics, religion, and even a little lesson in economics. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. It all begins with this iconic line, and I quote,
"All happy families resemble one another, but each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way."
Wow, that's not just an opening line, that's a thesis statement for the entire book. And let me tell you, this story is all about unhappy families. We start in Moscow, and the very first unhappy family we meet belongs to a man named Oblonsky, Anna's brother. This guy decided to cheat on his wife, Dolly, with the children's English governess. Smooth, right? And now his marriage is hanging by a thread. Dolly is furious. The household is falling apart. Basically, Oblonsky is the reason the drama starts. Enter his sister. She's sophisticated, charming, and let's just say, the type of woman who lights up a room when she walks in. She comes to Moscow to patch things up between her brother and Dolly. And honestly, she does a decent job at playing family therapist. But while all this is going on, something unexpected happens. You see, Dolly's younger sister, Kitty, has her eyes on this handsome cavalry officer, Vronsky. The guy is every inch the aristocratic heartthrob. Kitty is dreaming of wedding bells, maybe even practicing her new signature, Mrs. Vronsky. But the moment our leading lady walks in, Vronsky takes one look at her and, boom, Kitty is history. Sparks fly. He's hooked. And as for her, well, she tries to play it cool. But let's be honest, it's the beginning of a storm neither of them can control. Now at first glance, you'd think the story is about Oblonsky and Dolly. But nope, their drama is just the appetizer. The main course? The slow, deliciously scandalous unraveling of the life of our leading lady. So she heads back to Petersburg after this little Moscow trip. Her husband, a high-ranking government official, comes to meet her at the train station. And here's where things get weird. She looks at him and suddenly notices something strange about his ears. Yes, his ears. Apparently, they seem bigger than before. Red flag, right? When you start noticing your spouse's ear size, it's a sign things aren't going well.
Thanks for the heads up.
And from there, things just slide downhill. She's suddenly bored with her husband's circle of friends. You know, the same circle that basically launched his political career and made them the IT couple in aristocratic society. Now she wants nothing to do with it. Why? Because deep down, although she'd never admit it, she's craving something else. Or should I say, someone else.
Oh no.
That someone is Vronsky. And soon enough, what started as harmless flirting turns into full-blown passion. And you know what's ironic? The very society that forces people to keep up appearances, to always look polished and perfect, is the same society that makes these affairs so inevitable. Because no one talks about their feelings, their frustrations. Everything's bottled up, hidden behind a polite smile and a perfectly tied cravat.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, appearances were everything. So when her husband starts to suspect something's going on, does he confront her? Does he have an honest conversation like a normal human being? Absolutely not. This is 19th century Russian high society, folks. Instead, he's worried about what society will think. Because apparently, it's not your wife's affair that ruins you. It's being jealous about it. Go figure. So, what does he do? He ignores it. He plays the virtuous husband. Even when she blurts out the truth, yes, she tells him straight up, he's like, "Don't worry, dear, we'll keep up appearances." That's how deep the hypocrisy goes. And ironically, this act of saintly forgiveness just makes her hate him more. Because what she wants is passion. Real, raw love. Not some cold, calculated virtue signal. Now let me tell you, this marriage was doomed from the start. It wasn't a love match. She basically got married because her aunt pushed her into it. And he? Well, he was the perfect, respectable match. Love, chemistry, sparks? Nah, none of that. So when Vronsky comes along, he looks like an escape hatch. The problem is, escaping isn't that simple when the whole world is watching.
Whoopsie-daisy!
And then comes the issue of divorce. Back then, it was basically impossible. Marriage was sacred. Once you were in, you were stuck, especially for women. In fact, even when she wants a divorce later on, she can't get it. Because guess what? The offended party, her husband, is the only one who can initiate it, and after some back and forth, he refuses. So now, she's living with Vronsky, but still legally married. And here's the kicker. The daughter she has with Vronsky legally belongs to her husband. How twisted is that? Meanwhile, society is brutal. They shun her completely. She's like a walking scandal. But Vronsky? Oh, he still gets invited to all the parties. Of course. Because, men will be men. This double standard is everywhere. A cheating husband like Oblonsky gets a slap on the wrist. A cheating wife? She's practically a leper. Still, for a while, she thinks she's free. She and Vronsky run off to Europe, living the dream, or so it seems. But freedom comes with a price. The thrill fades. The insecurities creep in. She becomes possessive, paranoid. Every little thing makes her wonder if he's falling out of love. And Vronsky? He's frustrated too. He gave up everything for her, his career, his social standing, and it's still not enough. For her, nothing ever is. She needs love in absolutes. Half measures don't cut it.
Oh my God!
And then comes the vanity. She even goes as far as having a surgery, a hysterectomy, to stay young and beautiful for him. Imagine that. Giving up the possibility of children just to keep his love. If that's not extreme, I don't know what is. But here's the thing. Anna is complicated. She's not just a victim. She's not just a villain. She's both. She loves fiercely, but she also destroys. And in the end, that duality, the mix of love and hate, swallows her whole. Because this story, it doesn't have a happy ending. You know that train station where she first met Vronsky? That's where her story ends too, in tragedy. And that, my friends, is the heartbreaking, passionate, messy tale of Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. Yes, that Anna Karenina, the book with perhaps the most famous first line in literature.
All happy families resemble one another, but each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way.
This book isn't just a love story. It's about the hypocrisy of society, the pretentiousness of the aristocrats, the suffocating rules around marriage, and the impossible standards for women. It's about gender inequality. Because let's face it, Anna was crucified while men like Oblonsky kept on living their best lives. It also dives deep into faith and philosophy, even politics. You'll find conversations about religion, morality, and even economic systems. Capitalism versus communism. There's a whole thread about peasants and landowners, and you can see the early rumblings of ideas that would later shape Russian history. But what really hits you is the hollowness of living for appearances. Everyone's pretending. Everyone's afraid to live honestly. And in the middle of that, you have Anna, who dares to chase real love, only to be destroyed by it. This book is massive, over 800 pages, and not all of it is Anna's story. There are subplots like Levin and Kitty's love story, which gives us a hopeful counterpoint to Anna's tragedy. But let me be honest, the parts with Anna are the most compelling. Her story just grabs you and doesn't let go. Leo Tolstoy, what can I say? He's one of the giants of world literature. Born into nobility, he knew this aristocratic world inside out, and you can feel that in the book. He wasn't just writing a story, he was holding up a mirror to Russian society. Its hypocrisy, its rigid rules, its contradictions. And he did it all with language that's rich, layered, and surprisingly modern for a book written in the 1870s. So, should you read it? Absolutely. Yes, it's long. Yes, there are philosophical detours about farming and religion, but at its core, this is a timeless story about love, freedom, and the cost of defying society. And that opening line, it'll stay with you forever. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're interested in diving deeper into this book, I've left some links down in the description. You can use it to grab yourself a copy and keep the adventure going. And if you're in the mood for more great reads, don't go just yet. Click on one of the videos popping up right now that I think you'll love. And don't forget to give this review a like, leave a comment, or even subscribe if you'd like to see more. Every bit of support helps us grow this little community of book lovers. See you in the next one.